Day 2 of a major technical glitch at both the Kuala Lumpur International Airport and KLIA2. Scenes of flight delays, long queues and frustrated travellers dominated the two airports on Friday as the staff members still scrambled to fix problems to the airport management system. It was the first time to hit KLIA since its inception in June 1998. The glitch has affected the Wi-Fi connection, flight information display system, check-in counters and the baggage handling system. The staff had to display flight information on the whiteboard. Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad, or MAHB, had been updating travellers the latest development on its social media sites over the past 2 days. The Malaysian Aviation Commission said it is unhappy with the time taken by MAHB to resolve the system disruptions. So far, the airport management has not said when the problem will be resolved and the disruption could prolong for hours or even days.
The news tells us about system disruption in KLIA that happened due to network failure. Due to the system disruption, many problems had occurred, and among them that raised concern among flight passengers is flight delay or cancellation and luggage issues. So, in this video, we will address these issues according to the Consumer Protection Act and Malaysian Aviation Commission Act. The first issue that we are going to talk about is whether the passengers can claim for the compensation if there is any flight delay due to the system disruption. Section 8, Subsection 1. An operating airline shall provide to passengers and to the public information about any change in status of a flight as soon as practicable after the operating airline becomes aware of such change by means as may be determined by the Commission.
Section 12, Subsection 1. Where an operating airline reasonably expects a flight to be delayed for at least 2 hours in its scheduled time of departure, or in the case where a flight is cancelled, the operating airline shall offer the passengers the compensation and care as specified in the first schedule. Section 12, Subsection 2. The airline is liable for damage occasioned by delay in a flight, unless the airline proves that the airline and its servants and agents took all measures that could reasonably be required to avoid the damage, or that it was impossible for the airline to take such measures.
Section 12, Subsection 4. The operating airline shall inform the passengers of the cancellation and provide an explanation as to the reason for cancellation and possible alternative transport.
Section 12, Subsection 5. An operating airline shall not be obligated to pay compensation if it can prove that the delay or cancellation, as the case may be, is caused by extraordinary circumstances which could not have been avoided even if all reasonable measures had been taken.
By the virtue of Section 8, when the system disruption happened in KLIA, the airlines involved should inform the passengers if there is any changes regarding to the flight system, whether it is a flight cancellation or flight delay. According to Section 12, Subsection 1, Section 12, Subsection 2, and Section 12, Subsection 5, the airlines company doesn't have to give compensation to the passengers because the flight delay happened due to system disruption in KLIA, which is out of control for the airline company. If the flight is cancelled because there is system disruption, the airline doesn't have to compensate to passengers if the cancellation was caused by extraordinary cases, and given that the airline had done everything possible to avoid cancellation to happen.
Next issue that we are going to discuss is whether the passenger can claim for damage if there is any loss, damages or delay package.
According to Section 21A subsection B, in addition and without prejudice to Section 20, no person shall supply or offer to or advertise for supply any services which are not reasonably safe, having regard to all the circumstances, including its effect on human life and health and property.
In Section 13, subsection 1, where a baggage does not arrive on the same flight as the passenger, the operating airlines is liable to compensate any damage occasioned by the delay, and the passenger to whom the baggage belongs shall be compensated, unless the operating airlines took all reasonable measures to avoid the delay, or it was impossible to take such measure. Section 13, subsection 3, where baggage is lost while on board the aircraft or during any period within which the checked baggage was in the charge of the operating airline, the passenger to whom the baggage belongs shall be compensated if A. The operating airlines admit the loss of the checked baggage, or B. The checked baggage has not arrived after the expiration of 21 days after the date is urged to have arrived. Section 13, subsection 4. The operating airline is liable for damage sustained in case of destruction or loss of or damage to checked baggage upon condition only that the event which caused the destruction, loss or damage took place on board the aircraft or during any period within which the checked baggage was in the charge of the operating airline. Section 13, subsection 7. If a baggage is delayed or damaged, the passenger shall write and complain to the airlines within A. In the case of a delay 21 days from the date on which the baggage was placed at the passenger disposal, or B. In the case of a damaged baggage, 7 days from the date on which the baggage was placed at the passenger disposal. Section 13, subsection 8. If no complaint is made within the time lifted to in subparagraph 7, no action under this code shall lie against the operating airline.
In this case, according to Section 21A subsection B, Consumer Protection Act 1999, it affects the property which is the luggage. Hence, by the virtue of Section 13 subsection 1, if your baggage does not arrive at the same time as you, the airlines must compensate the damage occurred due to the delay of the baggage. But the airline does not have to compensate if they took all measures in avoiding the delay.
If the baggage lost while on board or during the period which the baggage was in the charge of the airlines, by the virtue of Section 13 subsection 3, the airlines must give compensation to the owner if the baggage hasn't arrived after 21 days of the date the baggage is supposed to arrive. According to Section 13, subsection 7 and subsection 8, the passenger who have either lost, delay or damages baggage must write a complaint to airline. If they did not do so, they have no right in receiving compensation from the airlines. The MEFCOM Act states that in case of delay baggage, you have 21 days upon arrival to file a complaint. And in case of the damages, passenger should inform the airlines with 7 days upon arrival.